Hey everybody, Chris Figgins here in the FIGGINS Estate vineyard at the foothills of the Blue Mountains on an absolutely beautiful April evening. Got some good news and some bad news. Bad news first. The winery dig I've been talking about for 2.5 years. Been working on architecture, engineering, design, civil engineering, geotech, all of that. It's on hold. This whole virus thing, you talk to my cave contractor, and understandably, he isn't comfortable sending his crew up here from California. Totally get it. Shacking up in a small house with his guys, and it makes a ton of sense. Plus, just with all the economic uncertainty, it doesn't seem like a prudent time to do it. You know, putting workers in close quarters. So we were supposed to break ground this month, right here. Those of you who've seen the plans, it's pretty fabulous. I'm absolutely stoked for it. But right now is not the time, and you know, like my partner Jennifer told me, it's not dreams delayed. It's just, or it is dreams delayed, not dreams denied. And so we're gonna go for it next year. You know, I can't really start it before harvest, so we'll go for next spring, and hopefully this whole thing's behind us, and we all have something to celebrate together. You know, so the good news is it's spring release time for Figgins. And so we've got our spring releases here. I'm going to taste with you today. So our 2019 Riesling, and funny story about Riesling. The whole, people always like, what's with you and Riesling? 'Cause obviously we're known for cabs and Merlots and, you know, big red blends. Well, Leonetti has its roots in Riesling. Very few people know that. My parents, when they started the winery in the first, I think so, they did it from 78 to 81. They made a tiny bit of Riesling off the original Leonetti property where my great-grandparents lived. And they did that, I think, partly because Washington was known for Riesling at the time, but also for cash flow, right? It's quick, it's stainless steel, and you know, you can have it out the door the next spring, but remarkably still can be a very serious and long-lived wine. Riesling, when it's done right, can just be remarkable. So the reason I planted some at Figgins, so this is a pretty high elevation site. It's 1750 at the top, 1500 at the bottom. But I've got one little piece that folds over to the northwest, and I just felt like, you know, not only is this going to be too cold to probably even ripen Merlot, but definitely not Petite Verdot and Cabernet. So I decided to plant a little Riesling because I love it. I love dry Rieslings, and that's what we've gone for on this. So beautiful. Always get this beautiful chartreuse color. We do a little bit of skin contact. Just that zinging, beautiful, clean fruit with that zingy acidity. And we do about 4 grams per sugar, 4 grams per liter of sugar, which is quite dry by Riesling standards. If you look at the International Riesling scale, it's very much on the dry side. So a lot of fun, great summer wine, or you know, to do with spicy food, Thai, any Asian food really, chicken dishes, fantastic. Awesome. The other wine we're releasing this spring is our second edition of Figlia, and so we came out with this last year. The response was pretty remarkable, and I like to prime my glass when going from totally one different wine to the next. But so Figlia means daughter in Italian. So I named this wine after my 2 daughters, Reagan and Scarlett. And it's funny, I'll put up on social or something. I have some pictures of my oldest, when she's about 4 years old, planting the original Figgins vines right down there. And God, she's just cute as hell. And now she's, you know, headed off to college this fall, hopefully, if things are back to normal. So that's all pretty crazy to me. The vineyard's even been here that long, but also really exciting, and just obviously love my girls to death. And so named it after them. So the 2 figs on the label are about that, my 2 daughters. But so, you know, the FIGGINS Estate Red being the focus of this whole single vineyard project, the Figlia we decided to do after, you know, we bring in extra fruit off the vineyard that we need for the FIGGINS Estate Red. It gets us lots of blending flexibility, which I absolutely love. But last year, and with the 16 vintage, we started playing around after we made the FIGGINS Estate Red blend with some Merlot and Petite Verdot blends, completely exclusive of Cabernet. And we were just blown away with how it was coming together. You know, I always call a Petite Verdot the rails in our wine, whether it's the FIGGINS Estate Red, sometimes we even use it in our Leonetti Reserve, but on the palate, it's very front to back on the palate without a lot of breadth, and it's just very linear. So I call it the railroad tracks. And then you put on top of that the fat and opulence of Merlot and the fruit, and it fills out the middle, and it's just like this amazing balance and symmetry that comes together when we do that. So we had such a great response to it last year. Thank you guys. That it's going to be an ongoing thing. We bottle it at a friendlier price point than the Estate Red. We also make it to be earlier drinking. You know, it's usually between 50% to 2/3 Merlot, with the Petite Verdot playing behind that. But so it's absolutely glorious early on. Really gorgeous color, saturated. It's pleasing. It's drinking awesome right now. You know, the FIGGINS Estate Red, if you want to age it, 12 to 30, 35 years, it will. This is going to be awesome to pop now. It'll be a 15-year wine for sure, but there's no need to wait, especially if you like, those young, fresh, bright fruit, fleshy. Pretty awesome. So as far as the vineyard goes, this being the cooler end of the valley, we're not quite to bud break yet. I'm starting to see some swell in the Merlot in the bottom, but south end of the valley's going. But excited to have you guys here this fall. Hopefully we can still do first weekend of October for our spring release weekend, or our fall release weekend rather. And look forward to that time. Concert on the deck back there, and hopefully things are back to normal. And then the following spring we'll get digging on the project. So tear for me, can't start right now. I've been dreaming about it for 2.5 years, but it will come together. So anyways, be well, be in health and high spirits. From my family to yours, wishing you guys all the best, and drink more Walla Walla wine. Cheers. Adios.